Massive news today involving Bitcoin, involving Solana in the United States, involving XRP, why the token is going crazy. Also lower cap altcoin news and more. Highly recommend you watch today's entire video if you're invested in crypto. But starting with Bitcoin and the FOMC meeting today, breaking news. The Fed holds interest rates at 4.5%, so no change, and Bitcoin rallied into and off of that news. And why did Bitcoin investors like this? Well, it's because it's what the market expected. The market was pricing in no change, and no change happened. Although the expectation for 2025 still shows 2 rate cuts this year, but the confidence level doesn't appear high. And why is that? Well, it's because Donald Trump versus Jerome Powell, we're really not sure where the economy, if they'll need more rate cuts than 2 by the end of the year, and neither is Jerome Powell.
How much of it is tariff? So let me say that it is going to be very difficult to have a precise assessment of how much of inflation is coming from tariffs and from other, and that's already the case.
Also, another reason Bitcoin rallied off of this is not just because of what Jerome Powell did, which is hold rates, but also because of what Jerome Powell said. Finally, a positive Fed balance sheet update from the FOMC today. In a direct quote, beginning in April, the committee will slow the pace of decline of its securities holdings by reducing the monthly redemption cap on Treasury securities from $25 billion to $5 billion. And what this means to you, this is the final stretch before the Fed ends quantitative tightening, which is on the journey to get to eventual quantitative easing. And the cap of the sale of the Fed balance sheet was $60 billion last May, then down to $25 billion, and soon will be only $5 billion per month. Signs are looking good for quantitative tightening to end in mid-year. Let's keep tabs on the Bitcoin price, and as I get more information, I will keep you updated. Of course, massive XRP news. The SEC is dropping the Ripple lawsuit. CEO Brad Garlinghouse issued this statement.
As many of you know, just over 4 years ago, the United States SEC filed its lawsuit against Ripple. I'm finally able to announce that this case has ended. It's over.
Of course, checking in on how this affected the XRP price, we're going to switch over to the XRP chart. And we see a rally of over 10%. XRP now trading at $2.50 per coin. Brad Garlinghouse on Bloomberg explains what's next.
The SEC has abandoned their appeal. And so they filed suit in December of 2020. We won on the key parts of the case in the summer of 23. Judge Torres made a ruling that XRP in and of itself was not a security. That's almost a verbatim quote. The SEC filed an appeal about 8 months ago, and what they've now agreed is that they're going to drop that appeal. We still have a cross appeal pending, and so we go from being defendant really to plaintiff. So we now are in the driver's seat to determine how we want to proceed.
Are you dropping it?
We're going to see. It feels a lot better to be on the offense than the defense. You know, 4 years, we spent over $150 million defending that case, not just for Ripple, but for the whole industry. I think it was really important that this SEC, the Gensler SEC, was really trying to bully and continue lawfare, filing lawsuits and lawsuits and lawsuits against crypto companies. That's over now, and I think that's great for the U.S. crypto industry and, frankly, great for crypto at large.
Some of you were asking me about playing the breakout, and just 2 things to understand. Number 1, XRP has been bought up from this demand zone many, many times in 2025. So we still have to see if we can break out from this downward trend that we've been rejected from many times in 2025, just like we've been bought up from this demand zone in this upward trend line many times in 2025. And there's 2 ways to play this. Number 1, you can set if you're bullish, you can set your long now. We're on market, open the long, and then set your take profit and stop loss, set your take profit to just underneath this breakout territory. Now, if we do break out, you don't want to take 100% profit. You just want to take your principal out, maybe take 20% off the table, keep seeing if you can ride it up. Or if you're more of a breakout trader, then you set the limit. You say, I want to set my long when we hit around the 2. Let's go right underneath. Actually, let's go a little over. $2.7868 XRP. You would switch the order price on your limit order to 78. And then still, as a pro trader, set your stop loss so you don't get wrecked. Link down below if you want to follow along. And huge news for Solana, the first Solana ETFs in history will launch in the US tomorrow. Actually, a better way to say that would be the first Solana ETFs in the US are set for their trading debut on March 20th, meaning we've had Solana ETFs launch in Brazil, maybe even Canada. This is the first time in the USA. And this is more of a yes, significant step, but no, will not affect the price of Solana that much. Because it's important to understand that this is a futures ETF, not a spot ETF, meaning the issuers nor the customers, they don't actually have to buy real Solana. They're just trading the price. And also, this is from Florida-based Volatility Shares LLC, not somebody I've ever heard of. It would be much more significant if it was a BlackRock or ARK Invest. But this is just the natural step to eventually get there. This is very significant, but don't expect a lot of price action from it. I'll always keep it honest with you. And if you're bullish on AI and crypto, ChainGPT just partnered with Sonic Labs. For those who don't know, Sonic is Phantom. Phantom is a prominent L1 in the space that's been around for years. They changed their name, they rebranded to Sonic Blockchain, and ChainGPT just integrated. We are thrilled to welcome Sonic, the fastest EVM layer 1 in our ecosystem. With this initiative, they've already integrated ChainGPT's AI NFT generator, ChainGPT Pad, and DGen Pad with the Sonic network. And how this integration affects you and me as ChainGPT holders, just understand that Phantom, now Sonic, is super fast. Real sub-second confirmation times. Sonic is the fastest settlement layer for digital assets with over 10,000 transactions per second. This is why dApps and projects want to build or would want to build on Sonic. And for ChainGPT, this unlocks high-speed AI-powered NFT creation. So if you're minting NFTs, you like this. And also unlocks new IDOs, initial DEX offerings with ChainGPT Pad and DGen Pad. Projects built on Sonic can now seamlessly launch their tokens through ChainGPT Pad and DGen Pad. Great to see the innovation. And big news for Ondo coming off the news we learned last month. So last month, you already know this, Ondo became the first RWA provider on MasterCard multi-token network, meaning MasterCard chose to work with Ondo. And how this works, Ondo said its short-term US government treasury fund, which is the first tokenized real-world asset on the MasterCard network, will let businesses earn daily yield via tokenized assets with a 24/7 subscription and redemptions, with no need for stablecoin on-ramps or settlement windows. This is a landmark because it lets traditional people in the Web2 world that know and understand MasterCard earn yield and be onboarded onto Ondo directly to earn yield. And the news today is this: what stablecoins did for the US dollar, Ondo is doing for securities.
We've used many of the same principles from stablecoin design to inform what we've done here. It is no exaggeration to say that we believe that what stablecoins have done for the dollar, Ondo Global Markets will do for securities. We believe that with the success of yield coins and the launch of Ondo Global Markets, we're entering a new phase in financial markets. Unlike many, however, we don't believe that this new phase need operate outside of regulations, destroy incumbents, or fundamentally change the way markets operate. Instead, we believe that this phase represents the next stage in the evolution of financial markets, where the best of DeFi and the best of TradFi combine to create markets that are more transparent, more efficient, and more accessible. You might call it a foundational upgrade. We call it Wall Street 2.0.
Pay attention to the signals on what who Wall Street is choosing to work with. And it has literally just been announced, like the video, that breaking, President Trump will speak at a crypto conference tomorrow. He will address DAS tomorrow, that's Digital Asset Summit 2025 in New York. This is the first time a sitting president has addressed a crypto conference. And to be clear, he spoke at the Bitcoin conference along with Altcoin Daily. We were speaking at the Bitcoin conference. We'll be speaking at this year's Bitcoin conference. Use code Altcoin Daily for 10% off your ticket. It's in Vegas. Michael Saylor will be there. Arthur Hayes will be there. Anthony Scaramucci and TJ Miller will be speaking there. Come have a beer, come hang out, come talk crypto with us. Link down below. But Donald Trump spoke when he wasn't a sitting president at the Bitcoin conference. This is the first time a sitting president will address a crypto conference directly. Never been more important to stay subscribed to Altcoin Daily for one video per day, keeping you informed. Like always, see you tomorrow.